Padre Island Convention Center.
Okay, so back where we were once again here. Welcome. It is a very great show here this week once again. It is 2:09 p.m. Of course, we started at 2:05, 2:06 p.m. And it's going to be a great show once again. Like we mentioned before, we have the great old one and only show of... Well, we have Marine Military Academy baseball is what I'm trying to say here. They start their district play, and now 16 teams left in both boys and girls soccer, 16 teams left in the March Madness Tournament Final Four in NIT. We'll talk about all of that as much as possible because it's very exciting, especially with the soccer coverage that could overlap the March Madness coverage. But anyways, it is March Madness, and March is about to end, which is very exciting in general because, well, we get the awesome stuff of more April Madness, and we get to see. And I want to start off with, of course, this exactly, which is all soccer for you all because it's pretty interesting. We start off with 5A. We'll go with, of course, the one and only 5. We'll start off with the boys soccer side of things, and we'll start off with 5A and going down to it. Of course, the biggest thing that we need to mention is Brownsville Lopez. They made it to the Sweet 16, and what does their bracket look like to be exact? 27th through the 29th is the regional semifinals, as well as, of course, regional finals. And while you got in that note exactly, and it's 5AD2, you have in various cities in Texas, you have Burgess versus Saginaw. That's in Ratliff Stadium. Odessa, Texas. Bel Air, Argyle. That's at Astound Broadband Stadium in Midland. They don't have one of the winners there, but they would play West Mesquite. They don't know where that game is. Winner in 39 versus Petite as well. Lake Creek, Bastrop. That's at Club Stadium in Brenham, Texas. Yes, the famous Brenham, Texas. Kingwood Park versus Terry. That's in Cy-Fair ISD Phrygian Stadium. And Cedar Park and Wattis Lincoln. So Wattis Lincoln made it all the way to that regional semifinals. And they play Cedar Park. That's at Buccaneer Stadium in Corpus Christi, Texas. So most likely a lot of these games will be in Corpus Christi, Texas for the regional semifinals. A lot of these games will be spread out potentially around that. So because there are multiple fields for soccer and football and all of that, so you take a look, it's probably going to be around CISD fields from Cabanis all the way over to, like we mentioned before, at none other than, Cabanis Field over in Buccaneer Stadium in Corpus Christi, Texas, and over at the major stadium, which I'm blanking on the name as well. But yes, Liberty Hill versus Lopez. Basically, what you're looking at will be, which I believe will be at Buccaneer Stadium in Corpus Christi, Texas. You'll have Cedar Park and Wattis Lincoln. And so the winner of that would play the winner of Liberty Hill versus Lopez, where we could potentially and hopefully have a sight to see of Wattis Lincoln taking on Brownsville Lopez to see who goes to state. Now I'm interested to note of where, because again it's been 2 rounds very quickly, where Sherryland High School either ended their run or were able to continue on the boys side of things, boys soccer side of things. They lost to Brownsville Porter. That was a neutral site playoff match that was in, the first round of the playoffs, which is still Division II, which if you were to look again, that just means that the area round was no match for Brownsville Porter. You go to the area round and just searching for exactly that. 6-1 Cedar Park over Harlandale. Waters Lincoln beating Brownsville Porter 3-1. That was your match where we could have already seen two sides play against each other, potentially. But that is where we will see who goes where on that sort of time. It's very interesting. It's very exciting once again. But that's only on the boys' soccer side. Now we're talking about on the girls' soccer side who survived for the Valley in the 5A divisions per se. And this is where things get a little confusing. Who's going to be on Division 2? Who's going to be on Division 1? Very easily. Well, in the UIL Texas Girls Soccer State Championships in UIL 2025 UIL, you have Cal Memorial, you have Cedar Park. They're playing against each other. And how did they get there? Well, it's very simple. McAllen Memorial were able to defeat Brownsville Lopez 7-0 girls soccer in the first round, and then in the second round beating Gregory Portland for another year 4-2 and bringing it into the regional semifinals. Your regional semifinals are a little confusing though, because again this is Division 2, which shouldn't make any sense, but of course Del Valle playing Argyle, Lovejoy Midlothian Heritage, Wakeland Belton. That's in Waxahachie, Lumpkin Stadium, Lake Creek versus Wise, Barbers Hill versus McCollum. Because this is where things get weird. Cedar Park, McCollum Memorial, and Piper versus winner of M40 of match 48. Why does this get confusing? Because this is Division 2, 5AD2. Where are Harlingen South and where are McAllen High School? Another two Valley schools that made it this far. Well, they count as Division 1. Why does this make no sense? Because who did Harlingen South have to play this year? What was their district? Their district was 32-5A. Their district they played, Harlingen South played Brownsville Lopez, Brownsville Porter, Brownsville Pace, Donna High, Donna North. They also played Mercedes. They also played once again those schools, including head coach Elsa. Why do I want to bring this up so bad? Because 31-5A consisted of Mac High, McAllen Memorial, Edinburgh, Vela, Nikki Rowe, Sherryland High School, Sherryland Pioneer. This is a big thing that just doesn't make any sense. Half of those schools are Division 1, half of those schools are Division 2. Where's the line? Where was the line drawn? I don't know. That's where I'm confused at. Because again, Mac High are Division 1. Harlingen South are Division 1. So if you look how they did, well, they moved on in their division. Like, in the end, the only thing that I'm complaining about is we won't get to see a chance of Mac High versus McAllen Memorial again until potentially in state. No, check that. We won't see that again this season. Which makes me believe that next year, possibly, we will see another change in the standings in the districts. Because this is the first year and the divisions are throwing me for a loop. Let me be real. Very much so throwing me for a loop. But that is a good thing. Because if you look at the bright side of these divisions, you have Mac High, of course, in Division 1. I mean, it's the same for every single district, too. Because there are some Leander school districts, or Leander school different district schools that are in D2 and in D1. So for this Division 2 to be exact, you have Amarillo, Birdville, Tascosa, Then it doesn't say who they play. Walnut Grove doesn't say who they play. Red Oak doesn't say who they play. A&M Consolidated doesn't say who they play. Friendswood, Georgetown, Rouse versus McAllen, Smithson Valley versus Harlingen South. Guess what? Smithson Valley. I mean, you think back, they won state this year in football and soccer. That's not an easy feat, an easy game. That is going to be played at Cabinets Field. Round 3 regional semifinals, March 28th at 7 p.m. So it makes me believe that that's where Mackay are heading with Rouse. Leander Rouse is going to be in Corpus. And that's what makes me believe that all those matches are in Corpus Christi, Texas. And it's going to be kind of split in half, which is pretty interesting. So it's very exciting that the Valley, for the first time in girls soccer, let me be clear, girls soccer can potentially have multiple state representatives. And it makes me smile. It really does make me smile. Because that hasn't happened in forever. Harlingen South, of course, making it this far. Let's even rewind. For the first time in 31 versus 32 5A since the rebirth, where every team moved to 5A especially, it had been a sweep of 31 5A over 32. We hadn't seen the same Harlingen South that we had seen back in 2018, 17, something like that. Or 2019. Point is, we hadn't seen the same as that. And so that 31 versus 32 on girls soccer, we would see McAllen Memorial face off in a 2 seed versus a 3 seed. They would win that one. The 1 seed of Mackay would win their game. Then we'd see the 3 seed of Edinburgh Vella win their game. The 4 seed of Sherryland High School win their match. And it would go on and on the same exact way every single year until this year for the first time, where it was split in half. Granted, the teams lost in the second round of the area round versus Corpus Schools or La Jolla Schools, but it didn't matter. So that was something that we kind of really looked at, and I was very thrilled about. Or not necessarily that I was thrilled about, I was just like, look, the competition's catching up. And yes, it was some teams off season, but I still do truly believe that a lot of those teams that missed the playoffs would have made it on different districts. Not saying they would have won their matches, I'm just saying they would have made them. So that's kind of the way that I'm thinking of. And the first round exit for Sherryland High School on the boys' side is was shocking to me, because they felt like they were really in a groove at the end of the season where they could win almost any match. They won district for a reason and lost to a 4 seed. That means how strong 32 5A were for boys soccer. 32 5A were outstanding on boys soccer this season. And sure enough was 29 5A. Or check that, 30 5A, sorry. Not 29, that's Corpus. But 30 5A. Because why does Lincoln making it this far? They get to play a school from the Valley in the regional semifinals to move on in the road to Georgetown is outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. So, looking forward to it. And again, it's D1. That's very exciting. Mackay Rouse, that is a classic matchup for you in the round 3 regional semifinals. It'll be all covered most likely by Corpus Christi ISD, so that'll be off of their platform alone, most likely. Just very neat, very interesting, and looking forward to the playoffs and teams advancing from the Valley. Of course, every single team advancing from the Valley is a possibility. Advancing into a state, in a way. The biggest thing that will be very fun is to wake up on Saturday and see Friday night Juárez Lincoln versus Lopez will be scheduled in there. Now, of course, there was some downside this week of some playoff matches. Won't necessarily dive into it too much, but it's just, other things don't need to happen. Like last year, in the regional semis and finals, Brownsville Lopez were able to make it, but the way that the match ended was unfortunate for just the fair play and soccer aspect. It's still just a game, but there is a chance to make it to state, which is very exciting. Anyways, it's about to hit 2:30, so we will take a quick break. I'm Jacob Young, Fruia Sports Live Network here at the Luke Fruia Motors, and when we return, we'll have more of this. We'll talk a little bit more about soccer, potentially. We'll talk about a couple of the matches, and then we'll move on to some college basketball talk. Remember, we have time. We'll end this show around 3:10, so that'll be very exciting. We'll be right back after this. Stay tuned.
Fish heaven as you taste traditional boils and innovative twists on this Louisiana specialty. Let the good times roll with live music from Morgan Wallen Tribute Band 7 Summers. There'll be plenty of fun for the whole family, and oh yeah, plenty of crawfish. It's the South Padre Island Crawfish Festival.
Elevation, AT4, AT4X, Denali. Case closed. Fruia GMC, we're professional grade.
Are you looking for a new place on South Padre Island? How about Starney's Hot Dogs and More? These dogs are delicious, and they're made the way you want to order. A new place on South Padre, Starney's Hot Dogs and More. Stop by today.
Fiber, this is our home. Take a look at what we do.
Sunny Glen Children's Home has provided a place of hope for every child since 1936. If you'd like more information on Sunny Glen and the services we offer, please visit us at www.sunnyglen.org.
South Padre Island. Enjoy endless activities for all ages. Then dance the night away with live music, savor fresh seafood, and discover unique food trucks and shop our charming boutiques. What are you waiting for? Escape the everyday at South Padre Island.
Sherryland ISD, a nationally recognized district focusing on quality and rigorous instruction where every child is immersed in a culture of academic success. Sherryland ISD, excellence is our tradition.
When you study local at Texas Southmost College, you can choose from over 50 associate degree programs, certificates, and workforce training programs, all at the most affordable cost in the Rio Grande Valley. Transfer your TSC credits to a university or start a new career, like Kat Gomez, who graduated from TSC and is now patrolling the streets of Brownsville and serving her community. Register now at tsc.edu/register and study local at Texas Southmost College.
Back live we go once again here. Of course, we were talking before the break, we were talking about the Sweet 16 of soccer and how that's exciting. Again, we'll bring this up one more time. We'll start off with the girls Division 2 side of things for 5A, and then we'll bring up the Division 1 side of things for 5A and do the same thing for the boys soccer. And we'll also talk a little bit about 6A. Now, I can't cover every single match, but I know that there's, of course, at least one team that people are wondering to hear, at least around the Brownsville area, which is very, very true. Either way, we go down to the regional semifinals. What are the matches? Of course, you start off at the top in a different division, but either way, Del Valle, Argyle, Lovejoy, Midlothian Heritage, Wakeland, Belton, Lake Creek Wise, Barbers Hill, McCollum, Cedar Park versus McCallum Memorial, and Piper versus one of the other teams that we just don't have any info on. But that's exactly what it is. McCallum Memorial with an opportunity to go to the regional finals, something that they have not done since I've, kept up with this side, at least recently. The last team to really do it was, again, McAllen High School, which people would probably be wondering, where are they? Well, divisions came into play this season, like we had mentioned before, and now, of course, we are talking about Mac High Girls Soccer, and we'll talk about who they will play and who's still in that side of the playoffs as well. This is 2025 Soccer Conference 5AD1. Locations will vary. El Paso, El Dorado. That was actually the start, so let's go over to the regional semifinals. There we go. Tascosa. They play a certain winner that we don't know of. Walnut Grove, same deal. Winner M39 versus Red Oak. A&M Consolidated versus winner M42. Friendswood versus Georgetown. Rouse versus McAllen High School, and Smithson Valley versus Harlingen South. So these are the two that we're really looking at least for the RGV and Region 4, is Rouse McAllen High School and Harlingen South and Smithson Valley. Those are your two schools. So regional semis just comes down to it's the semifinals in your region. That's exactly the region, Smithson Valley and Harlingen South and McAllen High and Leander Rouse. That's very exciting in itself. Leander Rouse have been known to torment the McAllen schools left and right. Same goes for Smithson Valley with just the whole entire RGV. You look back at it, who did Smithson Valley play not too long ago? Well, that was in football, none other than Brownsville Vets Memorial. And so, of course, Harlingen South are looking to try and defeat Smithson Valley, a top-tier soccer program. And why do I bring that up? People would think, oh, well, they're the RGV. The RGV should be able to easily win. Not in women's soccer, not in the slightest. You go up north, that is where you see the best of the best play for soccer, in especially girls soccer, women's soccer area. Let me just tell you all about the simplest thing of the U.S. Women's National Team, what the players are made of there. Not from Texas. None of them really make it in Texas, and that just goes, the further north you go, the better the soccer talent is in women's soccer. And for here, especially, it's very talented players go to D1, but they don't get a lot of playing time if they go to a Power 5 D1 school normally. There are certain circumstances where that can easily change. But Now, once again, like we're talking about, you have Rouse and you have McAllen High School, and then you have Smithson Valley and Harlingen South. Can Harlingen South and Mackay make an upset in a way? That is a possibility, because you look at this from just one match, Mackay and the Rouse Raiders. Mackay have been upsetting this season in a way. They haven't necessarily had the best of records. They lost twice to, or they lost once to certain teams, and it was, well, it was very, again, just very upsetting. Now, nationally, Leander Rouse are ranked a lot better, 165th. In Texas, Leander are top 22 out of 6A, 5A, 4A, all the divisions. Division 1, just on its own, the Rouse Raiders are the second team in D1, ranked number 2 in Division 1. Mackay are 48th. In Division 5A alone, Rouse Raiders are top 5. Then Mackay being 34th. That is the craziest thing in general. 34th is Division 5A over none other than that. So absolutely wild in itself. Very, very exciting. So yes, this would be a monumental upset if Mackay were to defeat the Rouse Raiders, which the Rouse Raiders have proven time and time again that they are a top-tier team. But also the Valley schools like Mackay and like McAllen Memorial have proven that they can win. So very exciting. Looking back at it, once again, that's D1. But we look at the Harlingen South, Smithson Valley, and we try and just give you all the information. Harlingen, this is a very close one. Harlingen South are known to score 3 goals per match. Smithson Valley are known to score just above 3 goals. We're talking 3.7, so they average around that much. Closer to 4 goals. It's a lot less for Harlingen South. This is just 3.1. So that match should be absolutely outstanding. But again, I have not seen Smithson Valley play, but I know just off of their athletics in general, they are still on another level. So let's look down at it. 16-3-1 overall record, 17-4-3. Any common opponents? Yes, San Antonio J. Harlingen South lost to them 1-0, as Smithson Valley beat them 1-0. So it's very, very tight in that same thing. Now, nationally ranked, 720th over 345th. Smithson Valley being ranked 345th nationally. In Texas, 166. This is, of course, like I mentioned, from 6A, 5A, 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A, and the divisions include 166. 72nd for Smithson Valley. Region 4. Harlingen South are ranked 80th. Smithson Valley 35th. In Division 5A alone. 52nd for Harlingen South. 21st in Division 5A alone for Smithson Valley. There's still big gaps. There are still big gaps for Harlingen South, a Valley school, to win. That's going to be a challenge in itself, and I cannot wait for that match. But again, both of them, with their common opponent, that's what we can really guide things off of. You look at, yes, all the stats, but both teams have played so many different schools. Your most common opponent is kind of the kicker. And Harlingen South, of course, played them a lot earlier. Smithson Valley played them a lot later because they were an opponent. That's going to be very interesting. Just looking very, very... I'm excited for this in general. I'm excited for these matches. It is a Sweet 16. I don't know how everything is going to be. But I know one thing. It's going to be spectacular. Anyways. Looking now at the boys' side of things, and again, the games that are very interesting. Let's look at Brownsville Lopez, the soccer. Really kind of bring it back towards this side exactly, because it leads us into exactly the regional semifinals that I wanted to look at. Cedar Park, Waters Lincoln, and Liberty Hill and Brownsville Lopez. Both of those games will probably be played at Buccaneer Stadium in Corpus Christi, Texas. I'm not entirely sure on that, but I know for sure it should be around Corpus Christi. Let's preview Cedar Park and Waters Lincoln really quickly, because that's going to be very exciting. That match is Friday, March 28th at 8 p.m. Not a lot of stats for Waters Lincoln, but there's a good amount of stats for, well, again, Cedar Park even has less, but just Region 4 point is there are not massive gaps, but Cedar Park really takes the cake on this one. About 74th ranked in Region 4. Division 5A is they're about 39th ranked, and you look at the goals scored per match, they average about 2.2 goals per match, and so it's a lot tighter of a match as well. It's going to come down to the defenses for all of these matches, really is going to be the key thing, and the endurance as well. Every single time that I've watched these regional semis and regional finals, the biggest thing that stands out to me is the endurance. Who gets tired faster? Normally it's the Valley schools. So that's going to be interesting. Again, we're talking about boys soccer here, so things could change, but it's going to be very difficult for that exactly to happen. Either way, we were looking at, of course, not necessarily anything for the schedule, but those were the two in Division 1. I don't really believe anybody else made it, but we'll look at I believe that there's actually a Division 2, so I'm just trying to think of what the team was for a split second, but either way, it's going to be an amazing playoff run for any school in the Valley right now. Let's go with Brownsville Memorial. Let's just check out for Veterans Memorial, to be exact, for soccer. Last year, they were one of the biggest talking points because they played against Brownsville Lopez, and that was an interesting difference in a way. Brownsville Veterans Memorial were able to beat Del Rio last match on Tuesday. Of course, yesterday. So where will they play? Who will they play against? All that fun stuff. The regional semis looks like this. South Lake Carroll, winner of them. All that, College Park, Horn, Grand Oaks, Katy Taylor, Kingwood, Brazos Wood as well, Vandergrift, Clemens, at San Marcos High School. So where that will be at. So San Marcos is, we'll check that. Cabanas Westfield, Corpus Christi, Texas, will be San Antonio Bowie versus Veterans Memorial. That is March 28th at 7 p.m. Central Time, and Veterans Memorial getting what they wanted to, getting away from Brownsville Lopez, getting away from all that, going to 6A, having a chance to do exactly that, and have a chance at a victory. So you're looking at everything, it's very difficult to kind of combat both of them. Again, very evenly matched, but the edge really is still given to Bowie. So I think it's going to be a close match, but again, it will come down to the defenses from both sides and staying out of it sounds like a basketball term, but it's so true. Staying out of foul trouble, not making those silly fouls. If they have to make a tactical foul, so be it. But that is really it. You cannot let your emotions get the best of you. And if they're able to do that, I think Brownsville Veterans Memorial have a really good shot of not only winning that match, but going to state. That second match is always the toughest one because it's the day after. It's the match after. And everyone has tired legs and things like that. And some players might be banged up to the point of where they're not able to play because of the last match. Something might happen. They step wrong, or unfortunate circumstances. So it's going to be a lot of play. That match in Corpus Christi will be very interesting to note. It's 24th, it's 27th through the 29th for the regional semifinals. So check that, actually. It's not like it normally is. They'll have the regional semis. They will get a break. March 31st through April 1st will be the regional finals. So they will have a break, and then it will just be played on Tuesday. So there are matches that are separated. So forget what I said before, where they're the two matches. They're not. Or any of them. It's going to be separated. So that's interesting to kind of think about. So they get their own kind of day for all those matches, which will be good. And now for... really, that's kind of your update, or not kind of, but that is the update for you all on soccer in the Valley for 6A and 5A, which is what I really have been covering all season long and have known for the teams, which is very exciting. So we'll switch very quickly here and go to some awesome stuff of, well, once again, sticking with the Sweet 16, March Madness. We're going straight to there. Who's left in the Sweet 16? How's your bracket doing as well? Anything like that? So, just going to it, CBS Sports kind of is what I use to check the bracket and see how everything is going. So really your teams that are left, that are playing in the Sweet 16, well, it's pretty interesting. In the Sweet 16, you have Ole Miss playing against Mississippi State. So it will be a little bit of a rivalry, as people call it in the football world, the Egg Bowl. So that'll be fun. Then whoever wins that, check that, my bad, Michigan State. Michigan State is who's there. Don't know why I thought it was Mississippi State. No, it's Michigan State. Mississippi State didn't make the tournament. Then Mississippi State, or Michigan State, with an opportunity to make it to their first Elite Eight. They have to face off against Ole Miss, a very difficult Ole Miss team that can easily upset if you're not careful. That's in the southern region. Your western region, you have, making it all the way, you have Florida and Maryland, which is crazy. So Florida versus Maryland should be very exciting. And then that is the Sweet 16 there. Of course, Texas Tech and Arkansas. Then in the East, you have, well, it's a bit of a shakeup. You have Duke, you have and Arizona. You also will have BYU and Alabama. I think we'll see a 6 seed make it to the Elite Eight in that east side of things. The Midwest, of course, you have Houston, Purdue. as well as Illinois, UK. Or check that. My mistake. Tennessee and UK. University of Kentucky versus Tennessee will play against each other, with Houston and Purdue. In the Midwest side of things, your teams that have no chance of making it to the Final Four, that's Wisconsin being one of them, which I know a couple of people definitely had picked Wisconsin to potentially make it all the way over there, and they did not. So it's going to be very interesting to see how all of that shakes up. Of course, I believe action will resume. We'll make sure of that for you all. When will the action resume in March Madness? I believe will be this Friday. Check your local listings once again. So very exciting on that note. It's been a lot of games, of course, we can easily dive into. But the biggest thing that I'm really keeping an eye on, of course, Michigan State, of course, making it there. Michigan playing Auburn, which isn't the most shocking thing. Texas A&M were in the lead. This in Iowa State. Of course, Ole Miss making it to the Sweet 16. That'll be again Friday, so a lot of these games will be on Friday. Thursday, check that. Yes, Thursday and Friday. So Saturday and Sunday should be the Elite Eight, which will be very interesting as well. And of course, the Final Four being at the Alamo Dome, which will be very interesting. It should be a week from Saturday. So that'll be very exciting in general. From the teams that are alive still, in my opinion, the Final Four can definitely see either Duke, Alabama, or even Duke, BYU. That is totally a possibility in my eyes from that happening. So looking forward to all of those games coming up here very soon, but we'll take a quick break. When we return, we will not close out the show because we'll still have about 15-ish minutes left until then. We'll be right back after this. Stay tuned.
Time to take a new look, maybe your first look at Buick. If smart, hip, and affordable's for you, Buick's your brand. Fruia Buick, Brownsville, Texas.
Truck Techs in Harlingen is your source for lifts, wheels, and tires. Talking trucks of any size, any model, and any year. Specializing in accessories with top-of-the-line products to bring that special look to your truck in a professional way. Lifts, wheels, and tires, with financing available too. Call today or stop by Truck Techs in Harlingen.
My son Leo just graduated from high school, but also with his associate degree from Texas Southmost College at no cost at all. Not having that financial burden was so helpful to our family. That's 2 years we did not have to pay for.
All of my TSC credits transferred to UTRGV, and I am so grateful to go into my major debt-free.
At Marine Military Academy, we educate those who dare to achieve. Those eager to control their future before it controls them. Those who can follow a path so they can eventually make their own. Those ready to join in order to stand out. Welcome to MMA, forging tomorrow's leaders.
South Padre Island. Enjoy endless activities for all ages. Then dance the night away with live music, savor fresh seafood, and discover unique food trucks and shop our charming boutiques. What are you waiting for? Escape the everyday at South Padre Island.
Graduation time. Time to make some decisions. What's next? Can I afford to continue my education? What are my options? At Brownsville ISD Career and Technical Education, you can graduate from high school with a certificate and or license ready to go to work. Debt-free. We have a wide range of programs for every student ranging from audiovisual, law enforcement, STEM robotics, electrical, welding, pharmacy, patient care tech, and many more to choose from. That's why Brownsville ISD is the best choice.
Back live we go once again here, and going back to soccer this time, it's local. It will count as semi-pro this time. It's something very interesting that we started to talk about a while ago, and there was news about it, and now of course it's all out in the open. This will be in Harlingen, Texas, to be exact. What it is called, we have more news about the RGV Red Crowns. It's nothing really that they've come out and said for anything like that, but it is what the league will be. The league is called the League FC. What does the FC stand for? 4 clubs. The League 4 clubs. The clubs this year will be Napa Valley 1839 FC, FC Davis, North Coast FC Seoul, Bay Valley Suns, Rush Silicon Valley, Oakland Soccer Club, San Ramon FC, Albion's SC Silicon Valley, Iron Rose FC, UA FC, CS San Rafael, Afghan Premier FC, Fuego U23, Tulsa Athletic, FC Dallas U23s, FC Wichita, Oklahoma City 1889, Austin United FC, Houston Regals SCA 2026. So most likely, well, they will probably be in it this year. Union KC, Corinthians FC of San Antonio, River Valley Bullies SC, Central Texas Coyotes FC, RGV Red Crowns SC, Kensington Soccer Club, Lighthouse Boys Club, Atlantic City FC, Kingston Stockade FC, FC Monmouth, First State FC, NY Braveheart SC, ODFC Cessna FC USA 2026. Wow, that is a mouthful. And Souegians SC, Valdosta FC, AFC Mobile, AFC Mobile, I should say. Inter Detroit 2026, Tallahassee Soccer Club, Pensacola FC, Pensacola FC Academy, Gulf Coast United FC, Central Dallas FC, FC Revolution, Union 10 FC, Tyler FC, Foro SC, Agafa FC, Metropolitan Oval Academy. Those are all the teams for this season. Well, we achieve our goals together